Hi guys, my name's Blair, and in this video we are going to be talking about colour theory and how to mix colours. To do this video you will need a piece of paper and some yellow, blue and red paint and some paintbrushes and water. Okay, we are going to be making a colour wheel. So a colour wheel is made up of 3 parts. The first part are the primary colours, which primary also means first. So the primary colours are red, yellow and blue. The secondary colours, which means second, are orange, green and violet, which is also like purple. And then the tertiary colours, which also means third, are red-orange, yellow-orange, yellow-green, blue-green, blue-red, and red-blue. Okay, so all of these colours are made up of these 3 primary colours, which primary were the first colours. So you can mix all of these colours from just these 3. So, if you're ready, get your paint out and we're going to make a colour wheel. Okay, so we're going to start by painting in our primary colours, which were red, yellow and blue. We're going to make sure that we have 3 spaces between each of the primary colours. So as you can see here, I wrote down where my numbers were going, so I know where to put my primary, secondary and tertiary colours. Now that we've finished our primary colours, we're going to start with the secondary colours. And the first one we're going to do is orange. So you're going to take a little bit of red and a bit more yellow, because red is a strong colour, so we need a lot more yellow than we do red. And we're going to mix up our orange. Once you've finished mixing your orange, you can then paint it in the middle triangle that is between red and yellow. The next colour that we're going to mix will be with a bit of blue and again a lot more yellow, and we're going to mix green. So you will need more yellow than you do blue, because blue is a stronger colour than yellow, and you're going to try to mix that up really well. Once you've finished mixing your blue and yellow together, you're going to paint it in the middle triangle that is between the blue and the yellow. Alright, now our last secondary colour is going to be violet. So we'll take some red and blue and mix that together to create violet. And once you've finished mixing that, you can paint it in the middle triangle that is between the red and the blue triangles. And now we're on to our tertiary colours, which are the third lot of colours. So you're going to need to mix up 2 lots of secondary colors. So the secondary colors were orange, green, and violet. And then you're going to start by mixing in one of the primary colors into the secondary colors. So here I've mixed more yellow into my orange, and that is going to go in between the yellow and orange. And this color is called yellow-orange. Yeah? Now the next tertiary color that we're going to mix is called blue-green. So it's easy to know what color you have to mix because if the primary color is the first word. So I'm going to take a bit of blue and mix it into the green. And this will go in between the blue and the green on my color wheel. And after that, I'm going to make my red violet. Alright, so now I've finished my first lot of tertiary colors. So, as you can see here, I mixed up earlier a second lot of secondary colors. And now I'm going to do the missing color. So here I'm going to make blue-violet because I've already done my red-violet. I'm adding a bit more blue to my violet, and that will go in between the blue and the violet. So as you can see in the video, it's a bit dark. You can't see much difference, but in person you should be able to see your colors a lot better. As you can see, it's like a dark purple. And my next tertiary color is going to be red-orange. So I'm mixing some orange into my red, which will then go between the red and the orange on the color wheel. And the last color to be mixed is yellow-green. So I am mixing a bit of green into the yellow, trying to get an in-between color. So you can always look at the colors that you're mixing as well. So try to make sure that it's in between yellow and green. So again, you need a lot more yellow because yellow is a very light color. And there we have our finished color wheel. So now you know how to make 9 colors from just 3 primary colors.